Okay, so this is the paper 2 higher tier gap analysis paper. Table shows information about the heights of 50 plants. I'm not sure if that's going to be relevant to me, but I'm going to write that must total 50. Draw a frequency polygon. So a frequency polygon we're going to plot at the midpoint. So at the midpoint of this group at 5, I'm going to plot 3. So I'm going to go across the 5, plot 3, get my point plotted. 10 to 20 is 18, so I'm going to go to 15. My photocopying is not very good here. 25, I'm going to plot 22. 25 is going to be 22. 30 to 40 is 5, so that's between 35, and then at 45, so 40 to 50 is going to be 45, I'm going to plot 2. And then we join these with straight lines, preferably with a ruler. And then that's that one done. Do not join them all back together or start point, end point. Right, question 2. Mia, Nick and Phil share 7,200 in the ratio 5 to 3 to 2. So, Mia, Nick, Phil, 5 to 3 to 2. And I would be tempted to write down now that that is a total of 10 parts. We've got £7,200 to share. So I'm going to divide that into parts now. So I'm going to do 7,200 divided by 10. I'm going to show the examiner what I'm doing. 720. We want to know how much each person receives. So I'm just going to times each of this by 5, etc. That's not very good there, is it? Right, that's a bit better. So I'm going to do 720 times 5, which is 3,600. So that's 3,600 there. Then I'm going to do 3 times 720 is 2,160. Oops. And 2 times 720 is 1,440. Really, what I could write in here is something like this to get me my method marks. And then it says how much does each person receive? 3,600, 2,160 and 1,440. Okay, next question. Here is a plan of Shay's garden. Before I start, I can see I've got a triangle. So the area of a triangle, I'm just going to write a note. Area of a triangle is a half base times height. And I've got a circle, so it could be area of a circle that I require, which is pi r squared. It could be circumference of a circle, which is pi times diameter, or 2 pi r, either of those. There is a circle inside a triangle. We can see that the circle has a diameter of 8. Good little tip here. I'd write down d equals 8, which means r equals 4. Shay will cover, we're now talking about area, the shaded area with grass. Before I read on, I'm now going to do that. I'm going to work out the shaded area. So it's going to be the area of the triangle minus the area of the circle. So the area of the triangle is going to be a half times base times by height, which is that. Half times 18 times 15. Area of the circle is going to be pi times 4 squared. If I put a subtract sign now in between those, I think that then will get me 2 marks actually just for writing that. So in my calculator, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do 0.5 times 18 times 15, take away pi times 4 squared, and I get this number here, 84.73451, blah, blah, blah. Right, so I'm basically used all the information up to that point. Grass seed is sold in bags. Each bag of grass seed covers an area of 15 metres squared. So I'm going to divide, I'm going to share that out to find out how many bags I need. Oops. So it's divided by 15, which gives me, show the examiner what you're doing, 5.64 blah 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 bags. Work out the number of bags of grass seed she needs. Well, she's going to need to therefore buy 6 bags. Shay finds that each bag of grass seed only covers an area of 13. So I'm now just going to check, if I do 84.734 etc etc divided by 13 this time, I now need 6.5 bags. So How does this affect your answer to part A? We will need more bags since we now need 6.5 bags. Okay, the next one, question number 4. In London, 2 kilos of apples cost £4.10. Don't know if I'm going to need it, but I'm actually just going to make myself a little note that that must mean that 1 kilo costs £2.05p. In New York, 5 pounds of apples cost this, so I've got £5 cost $6.40. Don't know if I'm going to need it, but I might work out what £1 is. So 6.4 divided by 5, $1.28 for £1. We've now got the conversions here, so I've got my conversions. 1 kilo is 2.2 pounds, so what I might do now is scale this up, 2.2 pounds, which is my 1 kilo. I'm going to times that by 2.2. There will be a lot of ways that you can do this. That gives me $2.816 for 2.2 pounds. So 1 kilo in New York costs $2.816. Now I've got something that I can start to think about comparing. I now need to convert either pounds into dollars or dollars into pounds. It doesn't matter which way round. So this is in New York. In London, I am going to go for, let's do this £2.5p into dollars. So multiply by 1.35. So 2.05 times 1.35 is $2.7675, and that is the cost of 1 kilo in London, and this is the cost of 1 kilo in New York. In which city are apples better value for money? Well, London, because that is cheaper than that one. Question number 5. Rearround the number n to one decimal place. The result is 24.3, and I chuck myself a 0 on there normally. So now I'm sort of looking at using 30. So it's going to be 24 point something and 24 point something, or 30, 25 and 35 in my mind. So 25, 35. Rounding up, rounding down. Technically we know that 0.35 would not, but because it is not equal to, that inequality takes part of that. A plane takes 2 hours 48 minutes to fly from Manchester to Rome. So clearly this is going to be a speed equals distance over time question to me. Time is best off put into decimal, I would suggest. So that is 2 hours and 48 out of a possible 60 minutes. So on my calculator, 48 divided by 60 is 0.8. That's 2.8 hours. The plane flies the total distance of this, so now I know my time is 2.8, my distance is 1694. This is in kilometres, that's now in hours. Work out the average speed in kilometres per hour. So I've got my kilometres, I've got it in hours. Speed is distance over time, so speed is going to be 1694 divided by 2.8. 1694 divided by 2.8 is 605. Question number 7. This looks like a SOHCAHTOA question to me. It's a right angled triangle and I've got angles involved, so I'm just going to make myself my note, SOHCAHTOA. Calculate the value of x, so I'm going to label opposite. That must be my adjacent, because this one is my hypotenuse. I don't care about this, but I do have opposite and adjacent, which is in tan. So tan x is going to be my opposite divided by my adjacent, 9 divided by 5. We need to make sure we write it like this and not into the, you can write it into the formula triangle, but don't leave it in there because this is the method mark. So x is going to be tan to the minus 1 of whatever 9 over 5 is. So on your calculator, shift tan of 9 over 5, and we get 60.9 degrees. Done. Metal rods are made from iron with density, so instantly I'm going to pause. Density equals mass over volume. This is in grams per centimetre cubed. I'm just checking my units. I've got centimetres cubed here. I've got kilos here. So I'm just going to make myself a little note. I don't know if it's useful, but that's 600,000 grams. Right, metal rods are made from an iron with density 8, volume 2,500. So before I get carried away, I can instantly now work out what my mass is. My mass is going to be my density times my volume, 8 times 2,500, which is 20,000, and that's going to be in grams, 20,000 grams. The maximum mass of a metal rod can be put on a trolley is 600 kilos. Work out the greatest number of rods. Well, either I can convert this to kilos now, or I've already converted this to grams, so it doesn't matter which way around you do it. If I want to convert this to kilos, I'm going to divide by 1,000, so I've got 20 kilos. All I need to do now is work out how many 20 kilos there are in 600 kilos. So 600 divided by 20 is 30. Done. Question number 9. Point P has coordinates 3, 5. Yes, I can see that bit. That is 7, 10. That's that. So all that information is on the diagram. Q to R is a half of P to Q. So this distance here is halfway from that distance across here. Which means actually, if that is half of that, I could split my line up like this. Find the coordinates of P to R. Well, I think what I would probably do is look at my distance between my x values. So I'm going to look at this sort of big triangle here. 3 to 7 is a width of 4, which must mean that each of these steps is 2, which must mean that step there is 2. So this must mean, to get from here to here, I need to add 2 onto my x coordinate. So my x coordinate is going to be 7 plus 2. That's my x coordinate. Now for the y coordinates. It's gone from 15 to 10. So in total it's gone down 5. So I've actually gone down 2.5 on this one, minus 2.5, which must mean I'm going down 2.5. So I'm now going to do 10 minus 2.5 to get my y coordinate. So my x coordinate is going to be 9, my y coordinate is going to be 7.5. Okay, question 10. Diagram shows a trapezium. As soon as I see a trapezium, I'm probably going to be looking to my formula sheet, get the formula a half sum of the parallel sides times the distance between them. So I'm going to label that one A, that one B, this must be my height, my distance between them. AB is 14, AD is 10, it's on the diagram, I'm ticking it off. The trapezium has an area of, so I'm going to pause and I'm going to make myself a little note that this must mean a half of A plus B times H is 165. I can actually, before I've even read on to the rest of the question, I can actually do something with this now. So I've got a half of A plus 14 times 10 equals 165. I can see now I've got myself an equation and I'm just looking for A here. So I'm actually going to do half times 10 first. So I've got 5 lots of A plus 14 is 165. You could expand your brackets now if you want to. That's fine, I might do that. 5A plus 70 is 165. Take away 70, 5A is 165 minus 70. So 5A is 95. So A is going to be 95 divided by 5, which is 19. So now I can make myself a little note that that number up there is going to be 19. I'm going to go back. I've now used that information. It says work out the perimeter of the trapezium. Well, this is the only problem side now, this little bit here, but I can now look at doing this. And now I've got myself a right angled triangle in here. I know this length here is 10. If this bit's 14 and this bit's 19, that must be 5. So now I want to work out the length of B to C. Well, this is now doing Pythagoras. 5 squared plus 10 squared is going to give me C squared, that length there. So 5 squared plus 10 squared So I've got 125 is equal to c squared. So c is going to be the square root of that, which is 11.18 blah blah blah. Work out the perimeter. So the perimeter now is going to be all of the sides added together. 19 plus 10 plus 14 plus 11.18 blah blah blah. So I've just kept that number on my calculator. Plus 19 plus 10 plus 14. And I get my perimeter of 54.18, which is 54.2.